Persecution complex. The persecution complex is like having a personal conspiracy theory about your life. People with this mindset believe everyone is out to get them even when there's no real evidence. Imagine walking into a room and thinking, they're all talking about me behind my back. It's exhausting. This belief is usually irrational and exaggerated, making everyday interactions feel like spy movies where you're the target. Living with a persecution complex means seeing threats everywhere, even from harmless situations. For instance, someone bumping into you on the street might feel like an intentional attack rather than an accidental nudge. This constant suspicion can isolate people because trust becomes nearly impossible. In today's fast-paced, competitive world, it's easy to see why this complex is so common, but it often leaves people feeling misunderstood and alone. Inferiority complex. The inferiority complex. This happens when someone feels deeply unworthy or less capable than others, even if they're actually talented or successful. Picture a student who aces every test but still thinks they're not smart enough, or an employee who lands promotions but insists they're just lucky. Despite their achievements, they never feel like they've done enough. This sense of inadequacy can lead to resentment and dissatisfaction, pushing them to avoid social interactions altogether. Some folks overcompensate for these feelings by working extra hard, yet no amount of success seems to silence that inner critic. The result? A cycle of self-doubt that keeps them stuck, unable to celebrate their wins or truly connect with others. Suspicion complex. The suspicion complex, which often shows up as extreme distrust, especially towards strangers. Think of someone walking home at night who assumes anyone behind them is a potential threat. While caution isn't inherently bad, this kind of suspicion takes it to the next level, turning ordinary moments into tense scenarios. It's more than just being careful, it's assuming malice without reason. Women, in particular, are sometimes portrayed as naturally suspicious due to societal conditioning around safety, but really, anyone can develop this mindset if they've experienced betrayal or trauma. The problem is, living in a state of constant vigilance drains your energy and makes genuine connections harder. After all, how can you relax when you're always bracing for the worst? Parental complex. The parental complex dives deep into family dynamics, specifically how kids relate to their parents during early childhood development. Around age 3, children start forming attachments based on gender roles. A son might idolize his mom, while a daughter gravitates toward her dad. Fast forward to adulthood, and those childhood bonds can shape romantic relationships. Ever heard of a daddy's girl or a mama's boy? That's the parental complex at work. Unconsciously, individuals may seek partners who remind them of their opposite-sex parent. Interestingly, ancient myths like Oedipus and Electra explore similar themes of unresolved parental attachment. While fascinating, this complex can complicate adult relationships, leading to unrealistic expectations or emotional baggage. Understanding its roots helps us navigate our own connections better. Horror complex. The horror complex revolves around polarized views of women, especially in romantic or sexual contexts. Men with this mindset struggle to reconcile admiration and respect. On one side, they idealize women as pure and virtuous potential wife material. On the other, they view sexually confident women as promiscuous or unworthy of commitment. This split creates confusion and frustration. They might lust after someone, but refuse to consider her long-term partner material. Superiority complex. The superiority complex, the ultimate ego boost, or so it seems. People with this mindset genuinely believe they're better than everyone else. They strut through life convinced they're always right, whether it's arguing politics or picking dinner plans. Their inflated self-esteem makes them look down on others, dismissing different opinions as irrelevant. Ironically, this superiority often masks hidden insecurities. Deep down, they might fear failure or rejection, so they overcompensate by puffing themselves up. Unfortunately, this attitude pushes people away, leaving them isolated despite their grandiose self-image. While confidence is great, superiority crosses the line into arrogance, making collaboration and empathy nearly impossible. Nobody likes a know-it-all, right? God complex. The God complex. Unlike the superiority complex, this one goes beyond mere arrogance, it's delusional grandiosity. People with a God complex genuinely think they're divine, untouchable, or above human limitations. Rules? Who needs those? Society's norms? Irrelevant. They take reckless risks, believing nothing bad can happen to them because they're somehow invincible. Often linked to narcissistic personality disorder, this mindset lacks empathy for others. To them, the world revolves around their desires and decisions. Whether it's a boss micromanaging employees or a leader ignoring expert advice, the God complex wreaks havoc on relationships and communities. Confidence is healthy, but unchecked entitlement, not so much. Guilt complex. Guilt complexes are like carrying a backpack full of rocks everywhere you go. People with this mindset blame themselves for everything that goes wrong, even when it's completely out of their control. Spilled coffee at work? Their fault. Friend cancels plans? Definitely something they did. They're hypersensitive to criticism and constantly second-guess their actions, fearing they'll mess up again. This relentless self-blame stems from a deep-seated need to be perfecter, at least perceived as such. Over time, it wears them down emotionally, leaving them drained and anxious. Instead of learning from mistakes, they dwell on them, creating a cycle of shame. Breaking free requires recognizing that nobody's perfect, and that's okay. Martyr complex. The martyr complex, where suffering becomes a badge of honor. These individuals thrive on sacrifice, putting everyone else's needs before their own to a fault. Need help moving? They'll cancel their plans. Asked to stay late at work? Sure, they'll skip dinner. But here's the catch. They resent it. A lot. Rather than delegating tasks or setting boundaries, they martyr themselves, then complain about being unappreciated. In friendships, they might agree to activities they hate, only to later accuse their pals of being selfish. Families often see this 2-1 member takes on all the chores, grumbling loudly about how nobody else cares. Willful suffering in the name of love or duty can seem noble, but it often leads to burnout and sometimes even self-harm if attention isn't given. Healthy relationships require balance, not endless sacrifice.